Hey everybody, Ryan here from Music City Live. Welcome to the 2025 NAMM Show. I'm here at Pioneer DJ with none other than the president, John Powell. Hey John, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. We're doing a segment called Inside the Roadcase. I want to talk about, Pioneer DJ is a brand that, and I was talking to some of your guys in the booth earlier. It's like, how do you talk about Pioneer DJ to people that, either don't know about Pioneer DJ or know how synonymous it is with all DJ culture now, right? But let's talk about, because you were telling me earlier, you came on with Pioneer in 2017, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So what was, like, how did that happen? How did you come on board, and what was it like when you got on board with these guys?
Well, I was in the pro audio field for many years. I was with Harman, doing JBL and all the Harman pro brands for 16 years. Actually, I was looking after Canada all that time.
Yeah.
The opportunity presented itself. I was, the last few years at Harman, I was in charge of JBL's worldwide sales. So it was an interesting perspective, got to see a lot of the world and deal really with that. The opportunity came up to move to Pioneer DJ in a larger role, so I accepted it. And it was a bit of a culture shock. I'd always worked for American companies, worked with Japanese companies, a little different. Very good, but just a different way of working.
Yeah, right.
But it was good. It was kind of ironic because when I left, all the guys at JBL said, "Why, you're going to work for the enemy? What are you talking about? The DJs, they always break our speakers." Oh, yeah, well. If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, well, a lot of JBL speakers in the DJ world, man.
There are.
Yeah, it definitely helped make part of their sales. But yeah, that's cool. And so, coming into Pioneer, I can't remember exactly, because I know there was a transition where Pioneer was kind of sold off, right? And I think that was before you came on?
Yes. Yes. In 2015, Pioneer Electronics spun off Pioneer DJ. It was purchased by KKR, and Pioneer Electronics retained a small percentage of it. And that they made some investments and educated and kind of, they just help them stand up by themselves. And I started in 2017, so we were under that kind of leadership for a while, guidance, and then in 2020, we renamed the corporation Alpha Theta. It had been an agreement that we could use Pioneer DJ as our company name for 5 years.
Okay.
So then we renamed ourselves Alpha Theta, which is now also a brand.
Sure.
Alpha Theta Corporation, and then right after that, or before that, I forget the timing, we were purchased by another company called KC. They used to be big into making machines to develop film back in the day.
Okay.
So they were looking to get back into manufacturing to a serious brand, so they purchased us, and they've never regretted it. So We've run on the road, but now we're part of them. It's a public company. They're traded on the Nikkei, so that kind of forced us to I'd say grow up, but get the financials, everything in line. Being a public company is very different than being a private company. So there's a lot more regulations and everything going on. So that was an interesting transition, but I was used to that. I come from Harman. That was a public company. So
Right.
But as far as the brand, Pioneer DJ has been around for a while. Pioneer Electronics back in the day, I'd say we're around 30-year anniversary, so it would have been mid-90s. They started dabbling in the first DJ gear, and that was all badge Pioneer. So ironically is when at some point they started using it in Pioneer DJ, and there was a lot of resistance internally. We're Pioneer, not Pioneer DJ. So I'm getting that same resistance as we introduced products under Alpha Theta. Well, we don't like that change. People don't like change.
No, I know.
I sincerely believe if you make good products that are compelling, that hold up and really allow a DJ, an artist, to do what they want to do, they're going to buy it no matter what you call it. I think Pioneer DJ definitely is synonymous with main stage gear. It's kind of the go-to standard. So we're very fortunate that we were able to continue in that position. Again, our goals go back to making quality products that address the needs of the artist.
Absolutely. Going back to the 90s, I was watching this, I was telling my crew that I was with earlier, I pointed up on the screen in the booth, and on the screen there's the CDJ 500 and the DJM 500 in like this glass case, and it's the video's rotating, and it's making it look like it's this this vintage thing, right? Meanwhile, that was my DJ system back in, and it wasn't my first DJ system. Obviously, I was doing turntables and stuff, but when I went into CDs, I had two 502s and a DJM 500. And at that time, I mean, I was younger, and at that time, that was a lot of money for, I think I was 15 or 16 years old when I got that rig. And it was like, for me at that time, that was a lot of money. I mean, I think that the players were like $600 or around that Canadian a piece, and then the mixer was, a little more than that. So, that at that time for me, it was. But I loved it, and the gear was good. It was obviously not what it is now. For anybody who's played on CDJs now, it's totally different. I mean, we had a pitch fader, but I mean, there was, and there was, I think maybe there was a key correction on it, like a master tempo thing, but that was it. And it was really just, a CD type extension of the turntable. And now obviously the technology is totally different, but it's interesting, I've grown up playing on various other brands too, and those brands have kept going and stuff, and they've got some, over the years they've come out with some new and innovative products. But what's interesting to me about Pioneer is that Pioneer has managed to, through all of what you just mentioned, the brand is maintain that quality, is maintain the innovation, maintain the confidence of the actual people out there who are using it, which is really, really, really cool, because, there's a lot of shifting going on, especially in recording products and all kinds of different products. There's a lot of shifting going on of loyalty to brands, right? For the longest time in recording it, it was M-Boxes and Pro Tools, and and then everything shift over to Universal Audio, and and then there's people out there that are also using Focusrite. So there's in the DJ world, Pioneer's been there the whole time. I mean, I've had I still have my original pair of Pioneer 5000 headphones, which goes back to the midnight, And at some point, I think something happened to one of them, and the company that was distributing them at the time got me another pair. So I have a pair that's like mint, like almost brand new.
It's fantastic.
But anyway, the point of that, Pioneer in the past, obviously I know you came in 2017, but it's a legendary company. What's the sort of the plan going forward? Because you mentioned the Alpha Theta name, and obviously, there's, like you said, not everybody loves change. I saw that. It was difficult for us as a retailer when we were trying to display the product, because it came in branded under the Alpha Theta name. And now all of a sudden, do you put it in with Pioneer? Do you separate it on the website? Are people going to find it, when they're searching? So that was kind of weird for us. But can you speak to anything about the plan with that going forward in terms of the branding?
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing to realize is we're a company, we're all one, whether it's badged Alpha Theta or Pioneer DJ, the same people are working on it. It's the same. We are heavy engineering at headquarters, which is in Yokohama, Japan. I think we have 500 engineers. I mean, it's probably half the staff is engineering.
Wow.
Globally. And we are very passionate about our products. It's a focus, a singular focus that I'd be hard pressed to ever compare to any other company I've ever worked for. And so it's very much in tune with the users. When we're developing new products, it's usually, depending on the complexity of their product, it's a 2 to 3 year endeavor. We're talking to key people, artists that help us get in their feedback. Can we incorporate this? What do you want? What do you want to do? It's a long process. I think that's a lot of it. As far as the branding, well, Pioneer DJ came from Pioneer Electronics, so there's always that relationship, and it's a brand that is it belongs to Pioneer Electronics. We have the right to use it in perpetuity. Alpha Theta was something allowed us to do what we want, because we have the right to use that as for DJ products. I mean, not saying we're going to do anything else, but Alpha Theta was something that we were able to just do it however we want. We felt we had a kind of a blank canvas to kind of reimagine what we want to do. And I think you see that with the very first products that came out. The Omnis Duo was a portable all-in-one battery-powered wireless, something we never did before. So it was a chance to an opportunity to take a chance, I should say.
Where did the name come from?
We looked at it, well, the corporate name started there. We were just looking, what represents us, and looking with the idea that it's about brainwaves, alpha waves and theta waves. And we just said that was kind of I forget the whole spiel. This was 5-6 years ago, but it was about the brainwaves, kind of the trans state you're in when you're listening to music and just kind of really in the zone and like in a Zen mood. And that was something with that. Well, because our motto is one through music, and we really believe that's more than a motto. Some of our things like they could bring a world together, music filled with joy through music. It's something we firmly believe in, and we feel that a DJ is uniquely equipped to put any kind of genre, mix any kind of genre music or whatever they want to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It just allows you to manipulate, do what you want, and be creative doing it. And then a lot of the gear, we're very cognizant of the fact that a lot of people buy our gear to make money with. A lot of people buy it because they enjoy doing it. So it's hobbyists and beginners. That's a very valid group. But the core, the expensive, key, top-of-the-line products, more often than not, are purchased by people who make money music. And I think we're always aware of that, always very concerned that we don't misstep and give them something they can't use or something that doesn't resonate radio.
Right. Controllers versus the decks like the CDJs, like from a very real high top level, are you guys seeing more and more people shifting to the controller because of the convenience of it?
Happened a while back. I think it depends on what you want to do. Mobility in both the United States and Canada is a big thing.
Yeah.
So that's why controllers are now all-in-ones, which are kind of a compromise,
right,
are very popular. There's a lot of mobile DJs in both our countries. And I think if you're moving around, personally, I'm not a DJ, but I like to play with the gear. I like mixers and players because I'm an audio guy. Mixer, I get.
Yes.
To me, that's a mutual thing.
Me too.
But I'm not moving it around. I've got it in my office or I've got it in my house. I'm not moving them around too much. So if you're a mobile DJ, which is a big segment of the market, that's not convenient. Can you do it? Yeah, you can do it. But is it cumbersome? Yes. It's more setup time. So I think there's kind of a happy medium. We're doing really well with players. So if you go to any club, any kind of festival, anything like that, it's all players and mixers. It's all components. You don't see controllers out there. But if you go to a wedding, it's a controller. Maybe it's an all-in-one. All-in-one kind of, I say, it's a compromise because you don't have to use a computer. So the controller people have to use a computer. That's the source. All-in-one, you have the option of USB sticks, so you can do the best of both worlds. So I think it really depends on you. Obviously, you can use software with the mixer as well, and people do, especially like the open format scratch DJs.
Yeah.
Using Serato software. It's going through our S series mixers.
Right.
But you can also do that in Rev 7, which is the controller. So I think it's almost like what's better, PC or Apple? I think, what do you want? Or what do you prefer to work with? I think that's the way I kind of look at it. Serato Record Box, controller, all-in-one, separates. Where are you at? What are your needs? You've got the same quality, and then just based on price point, you're getting the same features. But it's how do you want to work? What works best for you? And I think we've got strong supporters in all three of the gears.
Yeah. Software wise, obviously Record Box is your baby. There was, and I haven't been brushed up on this in the last little bit because I haven't DJ'd in a little while myself. I won't say how long. Like to be elusive on that. But there was some talk at one point of you guys buying Serato. Is that a thing still?
We tried to.
Yeah.
It was nixed by the New Zealand government. I think they were led some stories and led by some other people who had an interest in not doing it, that it would be a monopoly of the software. We don't agree with it, but it's fine. I mean, it's the decision. It's a governmental decision. Nothing we could do. Our relationship with Serato beforehand was fantastic. Today, it's fantastic. It was an opportunity. I think the owners of Serato, who are not the ones running the day-to-day, were looking to just cash out. I think it's, there'll be other opportunities, but we have a very good relationship with everybody that's working in Serato. We always work closely with them. It gives them the ability to work with everybody. It would have continued anyway under us, but maybe people aren't aware of that. But it doesn't really affect anything to us. I mean, it was just an opportunity. Hey, we want to sell. Okay, we're happy to buy it.
Sure.
It was.
Yeah.
It went through all these reviews. Because whenever you do a purchase like that, it has to go certain countries will do it. I mean, they're based in New Zealand, so they had a voice in it. But the U.S. helped with the U.S. care. It's such a small business, they weren't concerned. But you have to go to EU, you have to go to the UK, China. There's many countries that have that the right to say no. I went through this when I was at home when Samsung bought it, so I was aware of the process. But no, I mean, today, Serato, they're friends. We're working closely with them on everything. They're working with us on the products. We're developing software. And Serato Recordbox really, again, almost like the Apple PC analogy.
Right.
What one do you like better? Depends on the kind of format your music you're using, what you want to do. We created Recordbox ages ago to be able to do things that we could do in hardware that Serato wasn't able to keep up with and do it. So it was something way before I started to develop. So it wasn't meant to compete, which is now for an alternative.
Sure. Is there anything that's coming down? I mean, obviously nothing specific that you want to pre-announce or anything, but do you see, more broadly, I guess, or do you see the technology changing anytime soon in any way? Like just overall?
I see us adopting things that are more acceptable now. Like this thing we've been working on, the Sonic Link, that very fast wireless transmission. It's about 8 milliseconds, so you can easily use it. You see that in speakers and you're seeing it in headphones now, so that gives you ability to go out with the Omnis Duo. Actually, the Omnis Duo is battery powered and and not have basically any wires. So you could, if you want to do something, I mean, here I've been in California, so at the beach. For you guys, maybe it's a park or a forest, you just want to go do an event, you can do it, and you've got enough battery that if you got to do 6 or 8 hours, that's plenty for most events. Technology, I see streaming coming in. It's because of Wi-Fi getting better, 5G. It's an option now. Again, I think it's very relevant for the mobile market. For a main stage at EDC, that is probably not there. Yeah, because you got to have guaranteed delivery of wireless, and that's not a thing.
No, not in that environment with that many people.
Or, I mean, behind our camera, there's a photo there of 20,000 or probably 100,000 people at a festival. You can't have that hiccup. You can't afford. I don't blame it. I went through.
Well, even to the point where DJs in the past, some DJs have pre-mixed their sets in Ableton just so that they can guarantee playing it on your product. But just because you can't afford to have a mistake, there's 100,000 cell phones in front of you that are gonna highly publicize this huge so I can understand that it would be this equivalent if all of a sudden you're trying to live stream your set and the Wi-Fi will let go. Same problem.
What we're gonna see is a lot of wireless, like be able to connect to your Dropbox or your cloud or whatever. That I think is a thing that'll be built into units, and you already see some of it. You're gonna see that improve. You're gonna see Wi-Fi incorporated into devices, having it built in. So
that's cool.
As long as you're in a set venue where you have reliable Wi-Fi, it'll work. Something like EDC, that's in the middle of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's not a great place. But if you're in a city area like Lollapalooza in Chicago or something like that, you're going to have more reliable Wi-Fi. It's an option.
Sure.
So I think that it's just as time goes on, you get better. All the chips. It's all at the end of it's a piece of electronics. So as chips get better, you can do more. We have what we're doing is just evolution of products. We have things coming down the pipe.
Do you guys do your own chips, or do you guys source that out? Source it out. Yeah. Because because I know there was a. Yeah, well, no. Yeah, because I know that was a thing a few years ago. About the whole shortage on chips and stuff, right?
The battery fires.
Yeah, of course. How's the demand for the FLX product? Because I know from our standpoint, every FLX 4 and 10 we get in is gone.
Yeah.
Are you guys still seeing a massive demand? And what are you guys doing about trying to catch up with that? Is there any sight of that happening?
Two different questions. So
sure.
We call it the Flex, but the FLX series.
The
that
Flex
came up because you can run either Recordbox or Serato with it. So whatever you want, it'll work with both of them. It's set up more for Recordbox, just on the hardware side. But you would actually modify it, and even another one, the Groove 6, which we launched a few months back, that one actually comes with an overlay. So if you're going to be Serato, you can put an overlay over it, so then all the stem parts line up with what you're seeing in the software. I think that really resonates with people. We see that massive acceptance and demand. We have pretty much caught up with the Flex 10. That's a higher price point, so the demand and volume is not as great. We were able to catch up with that. But the Flex 4, we are making moves. We've added additional manufacturing capacity, so we will catch up with it. But demand through that is just...
It's crazy.
It's insane. I know that I would see that. thankful every day that we have the demand we do. But yeah, it's an order of magnitude that we are not used to in our industry. So that one has been a struggle. We increased manufacturing, getting more stock, but at the same time, this demand has increased. So
it's interesting. I think it's a good thing in a sense that people are spending a few dollars more than they probably would have back in the day on, like, let's say a DDJ 200 or something, right? Like people are actually investing a little bit more. But I think that it's the bit, like I was mentioning those numbers earlier from 1995. I think the barrier to entry is a lot lower than it used to be, right? To be a professional DJ, and the acceptance of being able to be a professional DJ in, let's say, a club environment or whatever, or a mobile, and have just a controller, right, and software is huge now, right? That's a huge thing. Whereas back in the day, like I said, when I started, it was all turntables and mixers, and that was a different thing. You had to learn how to beat match on vinyl. And if somebody bumped into your booth, you skip the record, and that was a different world. But so that's changed the game, and I think that you guys hit the nail on the head. I won't mention any names, but over the years, going back, I think I remember some very distinctive moments where some companies had great products but didn't hit the nail on the head with price point, and it made a big impact on their overall sales. They still did well, but not as well as they could have. And another brand, a competitive brand, came in behind them, sort of like you were mentioning, what Pioneer does great, which is to talk to the artist, fix all the issues, and come out with this, hey, by the way, here's this piece that's awesome and has all the right features, and oh, by the way, here's the price point, and everyone's like, winner. And Pioneer's nailed that along the way, and I would say that, in my opinion, as a retailer and as a user of the product for so long, that's a big part of why I supported it, why a lot of my customers supported it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to our philosophy that we're kind of building an ecosystem. So everybody has, if they're getting into DJing, they imagine themselves being Diplo or somebody on the main stage. So you have two players and a mixer. So all of our controllers emulate that. So the Flex 4, you really have a lot of functionality at your level price point. And that I think is a lot of why it's so successful. I mean, our challenge to benefit the entire industry, I think, is we all need to create more people in the DJing. So we need more DJs. I think the Flex 4, we're getting it into school systems. And it'd be kids learning basic classes in public schools. I think that's key. Any music, whether it's they're learning piano or guitar, anything, I think it's important for our industry as a whole. But I think that that's part of what it is. I think it's a product that really resonates with people.
Yeah,
it seems to work. And again, it's not a large stretch to go from a Flex to an 8 and a couple of CVJs. It's basically the same kind of thing. Obviously, you gain a lot of functionality, quality sound, but I think that's really a lot of it. In the Flex 2, which we launched, kind of came out in November, so kind of late for the holiday seasons. That one's really a big improvement over the 200 you mentioned. It's actually an audio output, so you could put a headphone and a speaker connected to it. So that was a big thing, Pops. And that looks like a mini Flex 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's anything that we can sort of touch on for the future? Anything that's coming down the pipe from Pioneer overall?
I can't say too much. We don't want to spill the beans.
But
we continue to look at what do people need? What are we missing? There's always the concern of cannibalizing your own business, but it's kind of what can we do that's missing? We've heard back from people. Maybe they really like a top mixer, but if we could use something that's, 60% of the price, giving up some features, would that resonate? So there's ideas there. Others, kind of sub-segments, kind of parallel segments. So what do we do? I think you're going to see more from us. We just launched 4 new products in kind of October, so it'll be a little bit of a wait, but in 2025 there will be several announcements, several launches of different things. So we're always working on stuff. Our roadmap is never dry.
Yeah,
I mean, the lifespan of a controller is usually about 3 years because it's electronics. Mixers usually last a lot longer because they last in the life cycle as well as their use, because it's pretty hard to break them. You can Alpha Theta, you can easily replace that, but unless you really just trash it or it just gets too old, a mixer will last and use for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Players will eventually wear out the job, but I think it's 1,000 movements or so. I mean, it lasts a while, but those are kind of a middle life span. All-in-one's about 4 years, so we're always working on the next thing. And again, it's a long cycle. Just start thinking about what can we do? What can we improve?
Yeah.
And, okay, can we do it? And then look at this, look at that, and then talk to people, get feedback. So that's part of what's good. It's
If there's people, you mentioned that you get feedback from some of the top artists and stuff. If there's people out there that are longtime users of the product, or even not longtime users of the product, but have good ideas on things that ideas and things, is there a way that Pioneer has for those people to give feedback to your R&D team?
it's more difficult. We can't just send out an email or
No, yeah, for
social media. Hey, we're looking to replace the Flex tab. What are your invites? You can't. We do sometimes with surveys. We ask questions like at events like this.
Yeah.
But it depends on the product. Obviously, top products to go to top artists. But if we're doing something more middle of the road, like the DJ AZ, we'll talk to mobile. A lot of our guys work in the booth are mobile DJs themselves, so we'll get their feedback. We know a lot of people. We'll get a lot of feedback.
Sure.
Obviously, people have to sign an NDA. They're not just beans, because it's not like we're going to go into manufacture the next week. It's got to be.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. Yeah.
So yeah, we try to do that. Entry-level prices are much more difficult. That's one thing where it's hard for us to be able to tie. But we do have agreements with schools, like DJ City and Beach Elkie. So we get a lot of students who go and ask questions. So that's
nice.
Kind of the way we do that. It's doing the best we can. It's
yeah. Well, it's
some of the days.
Yeah, and Pioneer is you can't just do whatever you want. I mean, it's a big brand. It's a lot of moving parts, like you said, public company, right? So it's there's a lot going on there. I understand that. John, thanks so much for
thank you
for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hey everybody, Ryan here from Music City Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're at the 2025 NAMM Show. We'll see you on the next episode.